I love so hard that when I lose, I hit the floor. My good intentions are tested soon as I'm out the door. And I move in circles, there's no forward steps for me. No, 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 no. Just one big cycle of predictability. This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm, no in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm gone. I love so hard that when I lose, I hit the cold dark below. Don't you know? My good intentions are tested soon as I am out of the door. Oh, oh, oh. And I move in circles, there's no forward steps for me. Don't you know, no, no. Just one big cycle of predictability. Don't you know, no. This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm, no in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I go. So this is just me. It's a sound, it's a style, it's a groove, it's a rhythm, no in between. Well, I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I go. This is just me. There's no in between. So
This is just me.
is just me.
Why there is no in between.
So
This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. I state my dream, not in between. This ain't my scene, I beg my leave. My face ain't clean, this is just me. Some ways I lean, escaping green. No in between.
this is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm, no in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm gone. I'm gone. So this is just me. It's a sound, it's a style, it's a groove, it's a rhythm, no in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm 1 minute, then I'm just me. There's no in between. So this is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm, no in between. I know to have to what you're given.
Right.
Hello, Facebook and YouTube. It is so amazing to be here with you again today. Remember, you are watching the Coffee Shop Conversation Show. I am Nastine.
And I'm guessing that would make me Peter.
This is Peter. We're the co-founders of Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven, and we bring to you every single Friday this beautiful space where you can meet entrepreneurs from around the world. Chat to them in the chat, and while you're doing that, get some really valuable info from our entrepreneurs on the screen, because we keep answering your questions. Hence why we call this the Coffee Shop Conversation Show for entrepreneurs. It's like you're walking into a coffee shop with your favorite besties. They just all happen to be entrepreneurs, and now we're going to sit here and have a chat, enjoy our coffee for an hour. And what you should be walking away with, if you're doing this process correctly, is a lot more knowledge and a lot more connections at the end of every single show. Okay, so we're going to encourage you to take advantage of the chat to each other, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, what you're doing, what questions do you have, what's on your mind. This is literally what we're doing for you every single Friday for a complete hour.
As well as what you're battling with. If we know what you're battling with and we know what your questions are, then we know what questions to ask our panel. It makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. So today on the show, we have two very, very, very incredible individuals chatting with us. So this is going to be a very close coffee shop chat. And the one is Rita Skuman from Coaching with Heart, chatting us from South Africa. And then the other one is Leanne Webster, an amazing, amazing global virtual assistant, chatting to us as well from, well, perspectives from all over the world. So today, what you guys wanted to find out from us is the global trends in entrepreneurship. What are they? So that is what we are going to be chatting about. Before we do though, I just quickly, sometimes I do this where I just quickly share something with you about the tribe, right? So I have to just share this with you because this is part of our journey. On Wednesday at 6 GMT plus 2 time, we had the most incredible, amazing tribe strategy session in the world ever. Like, you guys, you should have seen it. There are so many amazing things coming your way from Explore ProTech. We had about, how many leaders did we have speaking up at this session?
We had 5 leaders speaking up at the session.
5? I'm pretty sure there was more. But it was absolutely between 5 and 8. Absolutely incredible. Like, people that have done TEDx like talks before, from all over the world, people from Europe, Canada, South Africa, UK, US, everyone talking about the different initiatives that they're actually performing and leading in the tribe. And we covered everything from the ideal lifestyle for entrepreneurs to YouTube and visibility resources for entrepreneurs to lead generation for entrepreneurs. Literally everything was on the table and was so, so, so cool.
We also got to talk about our Christmas event. And
the Christmas event, we will be giving away like $10,000 US worth of prizes.
$10,000 worth the last time we checked.
The last time we checked, we're not done collecting yet. So if you still want to donate or gift something for our annual food drive for entrepreneurs, what we're doing there is we're collecting gifts from all of you, anyone that wants to contribute towards putting food on the table of an entrepreneur.
And when we say gifts, we do not mean finances, we mean services that can help entrepreneurs grow.
Like copywriting services, marketing services, virtual assistant services, coaching services, all of those amazing things that can make the biggest difference in an entrepreneur's life. We're collecting all of those and giving them away at our next Global Online Speed Networking event on the 13th of December. So if you want a piece of that pie, you should definitely be there. If you know an entrepreneur that could use a little bit of inspiration or a gift of some sort, please bring them along. We'd love to help them. This is what we do. It's part of tapping into our caring value. that we as an Explore ProTech tribe share.
As well as if you just want to feel good. Giving feels great. I mean, come on, let's not deny it. And Christmas is just one of those times where it's that euphoric feeling, you know, and you feel good about yourself. So if you want to feel good about yourself, get involved.
Join us for the annual food drive for entrepreneurs, guys. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. Like, oh my goodness, when we're looking at back at this someday, like when Explore ProTech is all over the world and you can't get away from us, like remember this moment, remember this show. Like Wednesday is basically where it all started.
And this is year one was.
We're not even on year 2 though. We're like year and a half.
But this is our second Christmas giveaway.
Yeah.
And last year was probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed in regards to entrepreneurs just getting together and just, what do you need? How can we help you? What can we do? Where are you struggling? Oh, you know what? I'll gift you that.
Oh, you need marketing? Like, no problem. I specialize in that. Can I write you a funnel? What's a funnel? Yeah, no, it's possible. Okay, guys. Anywho, let's get on to the topic of the day. So global trends in entrepreneurship. Who wants to go first? Who's bursting to tell us all the answers to all the questions that we ever had about what the global trends are?
You know what? I'll start it off because I've actually been noticing quite a few.
I feel like you should be disqualified, Peter.
I should be disqualified.
You are the starter of global trends.
Hence the fact that I've noticed them.
Okay. Please go for it.
So something I've noticed. Pre-COVID, people had assistants. They had people that would assist them in their daily tasks. And then we hit COVID, and the life of VAs was born and thrust into the world. Virtual assistants all around the world. People were now working from home and assisting entrepreneurs and companies with whatever small tasks that they had. But the trend is not that. There's that change from a singular VA that performs services to the trend of a larger group of VAs that actually work together. So that for me is a trend. This is something that is actually is blowing up at the moment, where it's now no longer you on your own as a virtual assistant. It is now virtual assistants uniting, holding hands, and literally, if somebody's coming into that space going, I need assistance, there is a group of people that all specialize in very unique tasks that are able to actually help them and assist them. Now, that trend, it's opposite to what the norm is. The norm is I start my business, I get as many clients as I can, and I keep them to myself. It's a very singular mindset. What these VAs are doing is they are showing their value, showing their camaraderie. They're supporting each other and supporting their clients by giving them exactly what they need. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a trend that is flowing right across the world right now. What do you think?
Well, Leanne, you have your hand up. Shall we hear from you? And guys, I just have to tell you, this is also a very, very important coffee shop show because Leanne, aren't you in hospital right now, just about to give birth, basically? Not yet. She's like this close, guys. So just the fact that she showed up today to come and share her beautiful voice with you is absolutely amazing. So yes,
no, we haven't popped yet. We are due the 6th of December, which is on Monday. So basically any time now, of course, baby could decide to come out. But yeah, absolutely, Peter is correct. Collaboration for virtual assistants has become a massive trend. And what also became a massive trend is project management tools, collaboration softwares like Zoom all of a sudden just came up in the world once 2020 hit, and they're doing amazing as usual. ClickUp is another great management tool, Asana, Monday.com. The only problem with having management tools is you generally get a week to 2 weeks free trial. Some of them offer you free platforms completely. And it's not long enough to play with and to see if it works for you. But yeah, collaboration tools, project management tools, sharing calendars or calendar links now, Calendly or Time Buddy, also massive big thing, you know, for virtual assistants and anyone that's working with international clients. Like really, it's been a great trend, and I can only see going upwards and everybody just pushing all those tools, just pushing to keep going and keep breaking barriers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I like where this is going. You know, it takes people that are actually pioneers. You know, so if we look at our VAs that are out there, the ones that are not doing it on their own, they're actually pioneering a space that is going to explode. It's not just a group of VAs. They're actually changing the face of how business can get done. That to me is pioneering. That is a trend. I think that's something that as business owners, we need to keep our eyes on that. We need to see and investigate how we can get involved with that, how we can support that, and be part of the trend. Don't sit on the sidelines. Get involved.
Mm-hmm. And that is Leanne Webster from Al Webster Virtual Assistant.
Virtual assistant. Yes, Al Webster Virtual Assistant.
Beautiful. Thanks, Leanne.
Baby brain.
I am so happy though that you mentioned that, because it definitely is. People are embracing software like never before. It's like they've really realized the power of automation and setting up systems in businesses, especially using your online tools. So that's definitely a trend that we are seeing in entrepreneurship. The other trend that kind of like explains the ones we've been speaking about so far that I want to bring up, guys, is global competition. So globalization has had, whether we like it or not, a massive impact on the way we are sourcing business, and also the markets we are able to penetrate and work with, and also the people that we are competing against. So I know, for example, most of the entrepreneurs in our tribe don't just network in their local area, wherever that may be, if it's Canada, if it's South Africa. There's a real drive for global networking. And I think it's because people are realizing that they can literally pick which market they want to compete in. At the same time, what that means for the local guys is, whether you like it or not, you're competing on a global scale now. And I think that is why people are actually so open to taking hands and working with other entrepreneurs, because it's scary if all of a sudden you've been used to operating in Timbuktu by yourself. You know, there's 10 people, you know, all of them by their middle name, and now all of a sudden they have other options. You know, people from Mauritius are suddenly logging in and saying, yeah, but I do that too. Like, can I help you? I'm also a nice person. Like, wow, about this? And that's where collaboration, and I think networking and the automation software, I think that's where the drive comes from. Like, people are feeling the pressure to have that competitive edge in a global environment. I'm very keen to hear what you guys have to say about this. Rita, maybe you want to give us your opinion. What do you think?
Nestine, I think the one thing, and Peter has said it, that entrepreneurs cannot work on their own. You have to have a bunch of people to help you pull through those difficult times. And what I've seen is, I've just had a look, and there's a trend, what they call a gig economy, which means it's only a contractor or a freelancer. And I think it fits in perfectly with what was said here today. So if you're a contractor, in some way, you are an entrepreneur. If you're a freelancer, in some way, you are an entrepreneur, because you need to put the money. There's nobody paying your salary for you. You need to do it yourself. And I think that's the one thing, especially from Explore ProTech's point of view. It's a haven. It is a opportunity. It's a safe space where we can sit down, have a cup of coffee, and say, guys, please help me here. And I think that is really the one important thing from an entrepreneur's side. You can't do everything on your own. There is just no way that, and I'm sure you guys know it, Leanne, you know it, Nestine and Peter, you know it, that none of us, we are expert in a certain field, but because we're not a corporate environment that provides all the other supporting structures, we need to do it ourselves. And that is damn difficult if you don't have people around you. So yeah, I think the trend is going to stay on people on a contracting basis. I think the trend is going to stay that there's a whole lot of office space open. I think the trend is going to stay that people are moving to smaller towns, not just here, but everywhere, you know, where there is a more relaxed atmosphere. I can still do 8 hours of work, but I live in a much more relaxed atmosphere, and that creates value in my life, except the money value that comes from my work, but it creates additional value in my life. And I think those trends are going to carry on. As Leanne said, there's so much tools available that really all that you need today is Wi-Fi to keep you going. And you can do anything from anywhere. So I think that trend is going to carry on. I am not so sure what you know, the bigger corporations and those guys, exactly how they're going to play out at the end of the day with their staff and employees. But from a entrepreneurial side, the contractors, the freelancers, I think is just going to get more and more and more. And we need to get together to make it work, not just for myself, but for everybody else. So yeah, that's my take at the moment from that, Nestine. It's Rita Skuman, Coaching with Art.
Thank you, Rita. And you have such a big heart. Also, guys, if you can, you need to vote in the YouTube comments. Then Rita will bring her parrot with the next time we have a coffee shop show. Right, Rita?
Okay, I'll do that.
But anyway, so continuing on the conversation, I'm like, they like what Linda's going to say, shiny bubbles. I'm like, so global trends and stuff, parrots, you know. Another trend, guys, that I've really been noticing, and I'm very keen to get your opinion on this as well, is okay, so this is kind of like a 3-in-1. Economies around the world are under pressure, right? So there's we can't beat around the bush about that. No one was really impaired for the massive impact and all the lockdowns and the effect of that on our actual economies. Consumer spending is down and prices just keep going up. A lot of people are feeling the pressure. At the same time, during this time, what happened was a lot of corporate citizens, I feel like we kind of lost some trust in them as a global nation, as people were made redundant and as opportunities dried up, and as some of these bigger corporations weren't able to pivot fast enough to actually look after the people that they are supposed to be looking after. That is an unfortunate reality of what happened.
So the trend that resulted from that is a lot of people suddenly realized that they need to take a lot more responsibility for themselves and for creating the lives they actually want. I mean, we're kind of coming out of an era where you could sign up with a certain employer, be your best employee ever. You'll have like a lifetime relationship with the boss, and you'll know for a fact that they will keep taking care of you for life. I, for one, like haven't experienced that. I've experienced more of a world in which I need to really step up and think, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to create? What kind of a legacy do I want to leave? And if something in this world happens, I don't want it to be like completely up to a boss or someone else to take care of me. I'm not prepared to take that risk anymore. Like before, I feel like some people were thinking entrepreneurship is so risky, I'll never do that. And a lot of people still think that way, but I think the majority of the people have now realized it's actually sometimes more risky to stay employed and to not have a backup plan or something that you're actually in control of.
Yeah. I think necessity is the mother of invention. When it becomes necessary to do something, although risky, but you really have no choice because it's either being unemployed or taking a risk. That's when people start thinking both inside the box and outside the box and around the box and coming up with new ways of how they can do things to sustain themselves. It is necessary. So people have come up with all kinds of new things and stepped into, people have left jobs where they are experts in one particular field and literally stepped into a whole new field and started something completely new and actually taken the chance to step out there and do something. Is it risky? Yes. Is it necessary? Yes. So I think that's the point where we realize, yes, this is a trend. People are moving in this direction. How do we support them? How do we teach them to support each other? I think that for me is the biggest thing, because the mentality before is, how do I support myself? How do I look after myself? How do I keep myself? But the reality is that if you do not do this with a group of people, you don't have the support that you need. The way to be thinking is, how do we support each other? Then we can grow.
What I want to put to you guys is, so because of that, and it's kind of like a sad reality, but I feel like because so many people have moved into entrepreneurship, the trend that I'm hoping for in entrepreneurship is to see a lot of these small businesses and new entrepreneurs become super successful. And I actually feel like when that happens, what we'll see globally is a trend of abundance, where all of a sudden things are more affordable. You have more variety in different products because everyone has suddenly had to rethink everything. Like, what can I offer that's of value? How can I offer it? It's all being rethinked. And I feel like the more we can support our entrepreneurs to be successful, if this mass of people that we've seen out that have now moved into entrepreneurship, imagine if they all become, or 80% of them become actual successful entrepreneurs. Can you imagine the abundance that will bring to the global economy?
Nestine, I agree with you. And I actually want to ask the question around this whole conversation. When does personal and professional growth take place?
When it has to.
Absolutely. When you grow out of your comfort zone. And here's the thing, that sometimes we have the choice getting out of our comfort zone, and sometimes that plug is just pulled out underneath us. And I think that COVID has actually pulled the plug out underneath us and forced us to take some risks that in nature, as human beings, we don't like that, but we have to do it because the plug was pulled. And I agree with you that hopefully the outcome of this will be that there will be a whole lot of abundance, and that abundance will flow out of the corporate abundance into the man in the street, the entrepreneurial abundance. And I need to tread very lightly here. The greediness of the corporate world, hopefully that will change because of this change that are taking place, people taking the risk, being a contractor, be a freelancer, be a VA, whatever the case might be. Yes, and we have to look after them. We have to care because it is a new world for that entrepreneur out there. It's not something that they used to, they used to get in their car, drive an hour to work, sit there for 8 hours and do what's been told to do. Now the things changes. Now the growth takes place, but it's painful because you don't see the result, and you get anxious because the money is not coming in, and that plays a big role on the back end, on the psychology of the entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, no, you know what, Rita, I completely agree with that. And I don't think it's something that we need to tread lightly. I think it's something that we need to stomp on.
Like just jump on it.
Yeah, just jump on it and break it. It's very satisfying. To breaking things is satisfying. I'm sorry.
Profound, Peter. Profound. Break things.
Have you ever hit a
Parrot
with a baseball bat?
No.
Do you not understand how satisfying that is?
No.
Okay. Well, it is. You know, not only when that plug is pulled, like you mentioned, it now becomes necessary to make a plan, get something done. It's a scary space. You know, when
it's
all of a
very
sudden,
scary.
you're so used to this pattern of life, and the plug just gets pulled and the pattern just falls apart. You suffer emotionally, mentally, physically,
everything.
And then all of a sudden, it's so necessary to move in a different direction, and you are scared. It's scary. It's happened to me. It's happened to Nastine. It's happened to all of us. We've all been in that boat.
I mean, it's happened to me more than it's probably necessary.
Probably, you're probably right. but at the end of the day, if you do not have to go through that scary time on your own, and you were surrounded by people that can look at where you're at and go, you know what, actually, I've actually got something that can help you with that. I've been through that. I can assist you. And you assist. And that person grows. When that person grows, you grow too. There's this sense of camaraderie, not I've got something that can help you now for $99.99. Get out of my space. You know, we don't want people like that. We do not want people like that. You've never met me, but you're trying to sell me something. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I do, but you're trying to sell me something. Sales pitches, get out of our space. We're not interested. Genuine entrepreneurs with good hearts looking to help and grow themselves and others. That's the trend. Bam.
Leanne.
So I was in that space of being retrenched last year from my cushy 9-to-5 job as an executive PA to regional directors. I mean, I've only ever worked with managing directors, CEOs. And while it was really scary doing it on my own, obviously, I also felt really excited to be stepping into the business owner, entrepreneurial space, solo entrepreneur, whatever they want to call it these days. And it's something I think I always knew would happen. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I remember thinking at 21, 25, around there going, I'm going to own my own business, but what am I going to do? I'm not going to own an IT company. I'm not going to own a clothing company. I don't have any experience in that. Cool. It would be fun to own a clothing company, but I don't know what to do about it. So I think then, yeah, COVID hit and I got retrenched and I was like, oh, wait, here we go. This is my moment. I had already looked into being a virtual assistant, what it was, what they offer, what they do, what programs they need, everything. And then I was just like, oh, I'm owning my space now. Great, let's go. And I did it. And it's been great. It's been a year and a year and 6 months now. Yeah.
Leanne, how does that
Rita.
make you feel?
Excited, happy. I get to work on different projects with different clients. It's not, while it's sort of repetitive, it's also not repetitive because someone will ask me for something different every day. They need this application or they're looking at doing this. Can I help? Can I research? Can I look at this? You get introduced to loads of different people, all different personalities, and you weave your way through different personalities, different styles of working. I always suggest having a Zoom session with my clients or potential clients before, just so that I can get to see them, get to know them. And then we set up a little thing and I go, tell me what your day is. Show me how you run your day. What's on your, what's the first thing you do? What's the last thing you do? You know, and then I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. Love what you're doing. We need to change this. Here's how I feel we can work better and quicker and smarter. So yeah, no, it's been a great journey.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
How was the personal growth space that you were pushed into? What happened to you as a human being in the personal growth space?
So from going from employee to business owner, I learned a lot about myself. I could, I always knew I was strong. I always knew I could be patient. I don't know if this is okay to say on LinkedIn, I mean on live, but
Say it.
Say it.
We dare you.
I've asked the question.
My one friend will tell me, must put my Harley Quinn rage away. So I've had to learn to, not that I have rage, obviously, issues or stuff, but like, you know, Harley Quinn is a little crazy, you know, so not that I'm crazy either, but it's just a good thing. Like I go into like an overdrive sometimes. So personal growth for me as a business owner was to have to learn to not go into that drive. When sometimes I want to fly in that, because I'm not even like frustrated with a client, like frustrated with myself or irritated with the system that's not working. You just go into like, oh, what's going on here? So generally I've had to do that. That was one thing. Also personal growth in being a little bit more patient with people sometimes. Not everybody works as quickly as I do or works in a similar manner, so it's having to adjust to what their brain thinks and how they like to work things.
That's awesome, and I think that is really what personal growth is about. And part of your entrepreneurial journey, you know, it's a year down the line. I'm sure 2 years and 3 years down the line, you will see a whole lot of different things, how you've changed.
Yeah, how the system has changed, how I've changed to dealing with things.
But I think what is also important is that at least you've got a safe space like Explore ProTech, where you can share these things, where you can ask for help, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that creates some kind of I'm okay with the process, with the entrepreneurial process. I can handle all the risks that are coming my way.
Yeah, when you have a team behind you or somebody, it doesn't have to be a team of people, even if it's just one person supporting you, everything else falls into place. You're just like, okay, I can take it. I'm Superman, I'm Superwoman, I'm Batman, I'm Catwoman, whatever you want to be. Another thing I must admit in growth is assume that everybody else that you're talking to doesn't understand what you're saying. So you really have to break it down hard to like what they call dummy it down. You have to do that because it makes sense to you. It makes sense to me as a virtual assistant, but as the client, they don't understand. Possibly. You have to break down reports. You have to break down the tools that you're going to use. You're going to have to literally simplify it all the way down till basic knowledge. And I struggle with that I must admit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm learning that as personal growth and business growth, because it's normal when we are good at what we do, we just assume everybody knows what they do, what we're talking about. And I still have to go, oh, I'm a VA. And people go, what is that? I'm like, oh, I'm a virtual assistant. And then they go, oh, okay, but what is that? And I'm like, oh, of course. Here we go. This is what I do. So that's as simple as virtual assistants. No one even knows what it is, really.
I'm glad you said that, because the way that we know it's becoming a trend is because I've actually had conversations with people like that have during the conversation have said, I'm battling with this. And I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll introduce you to my VA. And they're like, to who? To what? Sorry. And then you have to kind of explain it. And that was a little while ago. Now I'm like, I'll introduce you to my VA. They're like, what does she specialize in? What does she do? Oh, no, she specializes in this. Oh, perfect. Oh, I'd love to meet her. So the trend is changing. Whereas people didn't know what it was all about, now they're knowing exactly what it's about, but now the trend is becoming even more than that, because now the virtual assistants are actually sticking together. That is going to be the trend.
So guys, just to highlight what has just like happened here, like everything that Leanne and Rita has basically just demonstrated for us so beautifully, thank you guys, is the personal growth that is going on out there right now is massive. It's one of the reasons why the education and training industry is exploding. So I guess if you do want to get somewhere and create some products like education and training, it's just a massive space to be here now, because everyone's shifting, everyone's growing, everyone second guesses themselves sometimes in these difficult circumstances. And the other thing that Leanne has mentioned, communication. So that's a massive trend going on right now that some people have realized and others haven't yet. But the trend is, as we move more virtual, online, remote, and global, we have to remember or learn or relearn how to communicate.
Which means keeping it simple.
Like Leanne said. And I will admit, anytime that is one of the things that I struggle so much with. Like, it is impossible sometimes, but I have been improving a little bit. I am still learning, but I feel like, because even, in leadership and putting teams together and getting a group of people to perform a task together, even the most simplest of tasks, if you cannot communicate what we are doing together in the simplest form so that everyone actually gets it, no one's going to work together. We're not going to get there, because we're going to be running around in different directions, not towards the same end point. And I feel like that is something that we underestimate a lot of the time.
Well, I mean, that's actually very true.
That's why I have Peter.
You can take a bunch of professionals that all have experience in different fields. They are the best of the best of the best within their field.
And they will accomplish nothing.
Because
they can't talk to each other.
Communication, if nobody understands what the goal is, how they're getting there, what their role in the project is, or what their role in order to get to the goal is, then And if nobody understands what everybody else's role is, then there's no communication. They'll all just do their own thing in the most professional manner on the face of the planet, but it's not aiming for the goal. So, putting teams together with high-end professionals, good for you and good luck. If you cannot communicate, and if you cannot not only communicate, but if you can't listen to where everybody else is at, and if you cannot guide everybody to understand where everybody else is at, so everybody knows exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, what their role achieves towards the bigger picture. If you can't do that, come speak to me.
Why another thing that I've actually noticed, and the last one I'm going to mention on this call, is in the books department, the types of knowledge that people are looking for and actively reading up on are books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like all of those books about influencing, making friends, collaboration, communicating effectively, people are going back to that. So it's very interesting if you actually go and look at the top sellers on Amazon right now. Those are the types of books that are the top sellers in the entrepreneurial space. Okay, guys, on that note, I hate to see you go, but I'd love to see you come back next time. This has been absolutely epic. I hope you got a lot of value from this. I hope you used the chat, communicated in it. I hope you're walking away with some context at the very least. You should be adding me and Rita and Leanne and Peter on LinkedIn, because our LinkedIn contact information is in the description below. Go and connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. And then come back. And remember, this is your safe space where you get to leave with knowledge and connections from around the world every single week. Lots of love, guys, and may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true.